Okay, this is lesson practice number 11. Today we're going to be revisiting proportions. Looking at question number 1, we have a snail is moving away from a rock at a constant rate. This table shows the distance the snail is from the rock at certain times. Number 1, how many minutes does it take for the snail to reach a distance of 9 inches from the rock? So what we have here is our table of 0, 0, and our very first pair. We need to know what that constant rate is. Luckily, we have a 1. So 1 times what value gives us 1 1/3. We can change that to 4/3 because 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So we know we're multiplying 1 by 4/3 as our pattern. We're told the distance is 9 inches, so we're going to put it in this row. And they want to know how many minutes because time is in minutes. So all we have to do to solve this is multiply by that unit rate of 4/3. So 9 times 4/3 equals 12, which means 12 minutes. Okay, and we have question number 2. It says, how far will the snail be from the rock after 9 minutes? So now we have the 9 minutes, and we want to know the distance. Okay, in this direction, we multiplied by 4/3. So if we're going in the reverse, we would be dividing by 4/3, which, by the way, dividing by 4/3 means multiplying by 3/4. That's anytime you divide, remember that you are multiplying by the flip or the reciprocal. So you can do 9 divided by 4/3, or you can do 9 times 3/4, the flip of this. Either way, okay, 9 times, I'm going to do the 3/4 in the reverse, equals 6.75. So I'm going to have 6.75 inches. If you wanted to write that as a fraction, that's 6 and 7.75 is 3/4, so 6 3/4. But most people, they usually do that. Okay, in part 3, it says select all the equations that represent the relationship between the distance in inches, d, and time in minutes, t. So if I'm looking at my table and I want to know how to get the time, t, I have to look back at my distance here. Whatever my distance was, in this direction, I am multiplying by 4/3 to get my time. So 4/3 times the d, the distance, will give me the resulting time. In reverse, if I'm doing the distance, I am going to multiply, because we don't really divide, we always change dividing to multiplying in our equation here. We want the form y equals kx, so we want something multiplying x. We had 9 times the flip of this, which is the 3/4, to get our distance. So we had our time, t, our time, times the 3/4 to get d. So d equals 3/4 t. Those are B and D. Okay, the next question we have, at a deli counter, a customer buys 1 3/4 pounds of ham for $14.50, 2.5 pounds of turkey for $26.25, and 3/8 pounds of roast beef for $5.50. Question number 4 asks, which deli meat is the least expensive per pound? Show or explain your thinking. And question 5 asks, which deli meat is the most expensive per pound? So we are solving prices per pound. Okay, that means we're going to be working on looking at our unit rate and price per pound. So that means we're going to be doing some dividing. So we're going to do each one of these so that we can answer questions 4 and 5. Looking at him, it is 14.50 for 1 3/4 pounds. 1 3/4 is the same thing as 1.75. So I'm going to just divide by the decimal, but you're welcome to do this with alpha y equals. Get your mixed fraction in there. When we divide, we get 8.285. Money is 2 decimal places. That 5 means we're going to round up to $8.29 a pound. And we're going to do turkey, same way. You can pause this video and get your unit rates for the price of turkey per pound and roast beef per pound, and then turn the video back on to check your work. Okay, we have 26.25 divided by 2.5. I'm going to do divide by 2.5, which is, that works out nice. It's 10.5, so $10.50 per pound. And roast beef, $5.50 for 3/8. So we have divide by 3/8, or you can multiply by 8/3. It's up to you on your calculator. Either way, you're going to get 14.6 repeating. So I'm going to go out to 3 digits so I can see if I need to round up. And sure enough, I have $14.67 per pound. Okay, based on my work, now I can answer the questions. Which deli meat is the least expensive? Ham is the least expensive. And question 5, which deli meat is the most expensive? $14.67 per pound. Roast beef is the most expensive. Okay, on to the next page. Question 6. To make a shade of paint called Jasper Green, mix 4 quarts of green paint with 2/3 cups of black paint. How much green paint should be mixed with 4 cups of black paint to make Jasper Green? So I'm going to make a little chart here. Green, which the units are in quarts, and black paint, which is in cups. And what I'm given is the 4 quarts of green for every 2/3 cups of black paint. With that proportion, keeping the same color of Jasper Green, they are telling us that we're using 4 cups of black paint. And how much green do we need? Well, we obviously need a lot more green because even in this ratio, we can see that there's definitely more green than black in this shade. So we have to figure out our constant of proportionality. To do that, I'm going to do y divided by x to get what I need to multiply here. Or I could just go that way, but I'm going to go this way. 2/3 divided by 4 is 1/6. So I'm multiplying by 1/6 going in this direction, which means to go in the opposite direction, I'd be dividing by 1/6, or I can just do the flip of that, which would be multiplying by 6/1, which is just multiplying by 6. And 4 times 6 is 24. So I would need 24, and then look at your units for green, it's quarts. 24 quarts of green paint. Okay, a little bit more spiral review here on constant of proportionality. Question 7 asks, what is the constant of proportionality in this relationship? So looking at 1 to 8, that's the easiest one to do. It's just times 8. So y divided by x is 8. And then if I do x divided by y, going in the opposite direction here, I am going to get 1/8. So the constant of proportionality, k, okay, remember it's y equals kx or x equals ky. We have two of them, right? We're going to have 8 or 1/8, depending on which way we are solving, if we're going left to right or right to left. Okay, write an equation to represent this relationship. Well, if I'm looking at this one and I want to know what my y equals, my y is going to equal x times 8, so I'm going to write 8x. If I want to solve for x, then I have to take my y and multiply by 1/8. So that's 1/8 y. Okay, question 9. Angel checks out 12 library books. Shakoba checks out 1/3 less than that. So 1/3 less, if I have 100% minus 1/3, she's checking out 2/3 of what Angel is checking out. So we need to solve the math problem 2/3 of 12. And that means I'm going to do 2/3 times 12, which gives me 8. So 8 books. Which is greater? Circle 1. So in order to solve this and see if they're both the same or one of these is greater than the other, in our explain, we should be working that out. So if I'm doing 40% of 12, that means I have to change the 40% to a decimal, which is 0.4. Again, remember that if you want to know what a percent is, percent means out of 100. So I would do 40 divided by 100, and I would get my 0.4. Of means to multiply the 12, and that works out to be 4.8. Now I'm going to solve this one, which is 12% of 40. That means 0.12 times 40, and that works out to be 4.8 as well. So they are the same. Okay, the last questions. Translating 12 is 40% of what number? 12 is 40% is again 0.4 times what number? That's our mystery. So I can change that to 12 equals 0.4x for the unknown. To solve for x, we're going to divide both sides by 0.4, and x equals 30. So our answer is 30. Okay, take your notes and go into Amplify to type in your answers so that I know that you took notes today.